My name's Ron Otto. I have the privilege of being the senior minister here. And I was looking at an article that captured my attention. The headline on the article said, "The Legend of Cliff Young, a 61-year-old farmer who won the world's toughest race." Just that headline alone grabbed my attention. I'm told it's a true story. You might go home and research it later, but here's how the article read. Australia holds an annual 500-mile ultra marathon. Most runners are under 30. That changed in 1983, all right, when a 61-year-old farmer named Cliff Young showed up wearing overalls and work boots. In the first miles of the race, Cliff quickly left behind, but Cliff didn't even seem to be running properly. He had a strange shuffle move. Most seasoned runners ran for 18 hours and then slept for 6 hours, but not Cliff. He put his head down. He ran right past the checkpoint through the night. Night after night, he just refused sleep and kept running. Cliff would go on to win the race and set a new world record for the most grueling marathon in the world. Cliff was shocked to find out that he won $10,000. He didn't even know a prize was involved. So he turned around and he shared the prize money with the other runners. When he was asked, "How did you do this thing?" this is what he tells. "I grew up on a farm where we couldn't afford horses or tractors, and as a boy, it was my job to go out and round up the sheep. We had 2,000 sheep on 2,000 acres. Sometimes I would run for days to bring them all in. That's where I learned my shuffle run," he said. Well, how does Cliff finish this whole thing? The story says the very next year he came back to defend his title. This time, other runners ran through the night and imitated Cliff's shuffle maneuver. He only took 7th place, but that's still a remarkable accomplishment given that he was running with a displaced hip. I want to be Cliff Young. I want to finish the race that God has marked out for me. In a little bit, I'm going to show you that passage. But you have been assigned a race by God that only you are allowed to run. It's your race in this world. And the question today is, are you a finisher? I'm radical enough that I want to be a finisher in this world. We've been talking about the radical follower of Jesus Christ. This is the last sermon. And in the last sermon, let me tell you something. We're so radical as followers of Jesus, we don't quit on him. We're in this all the way to the end. Most of you know I've been married for 40 years. I've been in ministry for 40 years. That's not bad for a 47-year-old. I want to finish what I started. I want to finish strong. Now relax. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. But my age dictates that I'm in the last lap of my career. One day, you're going to have another minister. That's just going to happen. It happens to every church. Don't stress over this. It's not anytime soon, but one day. And so I contemplate, what kind of finisher do I want to be in this? And then I contemplate my whole Christian walk. I'm not just talking about ministry. I'm talking about the person I want to be in front of my family, in front of my grandkids, in front of my friends, in front of this community. What kind of finisher to life do I want to have? The last time I saw my dad alive, in the last moments of his final breaths, he was reaching for something. A lot of Christian people do that. Can't explain it, but they seem like there's something they're reaching for. Maybe somebody's there to take them. Maybe they can see something. We focus on what's unseen, not on what's seen, we're told in our Christian walk. And whatever it was, my dad was reaching for it. In those final years of my life, in those final years of ministry, I don't want to blow up my marriage. I don't want to blow up my church. I don't want to have some moral failure here at the last end. I want to finish strong. And so do you. You too want to have a strong finish in all of this. Not everybody does, by the way. Some people reject faith at the end. I'm stubborn about this. I want you to be stubborn about it. I want you to not just be a comfortable follower of Jesus Christ. I want you to be a radical follower of Jesus Christ. In the Bible, there's all kinds of people who finish. Some finish strong, some don't finish strong. We see two men who are ministering together in the New Testament. Now, one of the men you know real well, the Apostle Paul. You know him well. The other one is a man by the name of Demas, and you don't know him as well. Demas is a co-worker with Paul. He's a co-minister. He's a fellow worker with the gospel of Jesus Christ. He's a young guy with a bright future. But what we see in the Bible regarding Demas is he doesn't finish well. This is found in 2 Timothy, by the way, chapter 4. Demas, in love with this present world, has deserted me. By the way, that's the last entry we have regarding Demas. We don't know anything more than that. In Scripture, that's his epitaph. That's not the epitaph you want. That in love with this world, he's abandoned the gospel. He's walked away from the faith. No, you want to be on the other side of that. You want to be the Apostle Paul in all of this. And the Apostle Paul had an epic finish, by the way. He's in prison. He's chained to guards. He's about to be executed. I mean, one of the great things about the martyrs of old is that they didn't deny Jesus in the last moments. They were given the same opportunity that some people in our world are given. Convert or die, convert or die. There's religions out there that say that. And we're in a country of great religious freedom. Thank you for that, Lord. However, one day if that were to change, what would you do in that moment? Would you save your life and deny Jesus in the process? You don't wait for moments when you're right on the firing line to make up your mind today. It's these decisions today that say, I don't quit on Jesus, that will give you the strength if that day ever comes. But if you don't cross that bridge now, when those days come, you'll find yourself weak. So you make up your mind today. The Apostle Paul did that. He did that early. I'm with Jesus to the end. And what does it say about Paul? 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 6. He says, time for my departure is near. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. That's the epitaph I want, and that's the epitaph you want. But not everybody does that, do they? To the young people in the room for a moment, the teenagers. We're hearing that statistically young people are leaving the church in record numbers. You're leaving the church, you're leaving their faith, they're leaving God. Statistically, nationwide, that number is growing. Praise God. Here at our church, that number is way lower than what's out there in the nation. There's something about the young people of our church. They have stick-to-itiveness. They have nerve. They have moxie. They have tenacity. Our young people are keeping the faith at a higher number than what the nation is. And even though their friends are walking away from it, they don't. And even the young people in this room, I'm talking about a finish line. Oh, that's the old preacher. That's a long way off for me. No, you make up your mind today. Are you with Jesus all the way to the end or not? And that will feed into your life in such a big way. It will feed into your marriages. It will feed into your families. You will have tremendous impact, but you make up those decisions today that I don't quit on him. We were told a bunch would, by the way. God knew it. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. The Spirit clearly says that in latter times some will abandon the faith. Yeah, they're going to go off after deceiving spirits. They're going to go off after things that are taught by demons. I wonder if that's what happened to Demas. No, like Paul, we fix our eyes on Jesus. There's a race that only you can run today. Hebrews 12, look at this passage with me for a moment. Since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, that's all the people who are watching us, both alive and dead, let us throw off everything that hinders, throw off that sin that so easily entangles. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. That's just your race. And how are you going to do it? You're going to fix your eyes on Jesus, who, by the way, is the author and finisher of our faith. Don't expect Jesus to finish something in your life that he hasn't authored. What do I mean by that? Don't, at the end of this world, come to Jesus with your unbelief and your faithless life and ask him to finish it for you. Because if he didn't author it, he doesn't have to finish it. That which he has authored, the faithful life that he has brought you into, that's what he's committed to finishing. And if you walk away from that at the end, there's no commitment. He'll fix that for you. Jesus is the finisher. Yeah. Sometimes people say kind things to preachers. I appreciate every compliment and every encouragement. It means a lot to me. Sometimes people don't say kind things. It's just how it is in ministry. Sometimes preachers, oh man, you really set my faith on the right track, Thank you, but it's not me. Or boy, the preacher really let me down. I'm not in the church anymore because the preacher failed me. Really? How old were you when you grew up and realized that people would fail you? If you didn't think that would happen, teenagers, today's the day you grow up. People will fail you. Their race was not your race. You have your own race marked out. And so we commit to the end. If you want to honor me today, fix your eyes on Jesus. This is about what he started in you, not about what I started in you. This is about what he'll finish in you, not what I'll finish in you. You look to him. You keep your eyes on him. Is this going to be a little scary at times, this race of life? Yeah, it can be intimidating. It can be scary. Years ago, we were a young family. We took our children to Disney. I made a terrible mistake of taking them on the haunted house ride, all right? And I've never been on it before, but, and they were a little freaked out just looking at the outside. Dad, we're not sure. I'm like, oh, come on, this will be fun. And I should have known the minute I stepped in, welcome, foolish mortals. I should have known right then. Don't do this with your kids. But, hey, they're just children and dad scars them for life all the time. Let's just do this thing. And so we threw them on the ride. And it was way worse than I expected. And I had two little boys at the time with their hands over their eyes. We're going through this ride. And you know what? I didn't enjoy the ride either. I found myself not enjoying I found myself talking to my kids over and over again. It's all right. Dad's with you. It's all right. It's almost over. Hang on. And through some of the painful times of my spiritual walk, if I get real quiet, I can hear that voice from Jesus. I'm here. I got you. It'll be over one day. Yeah, I'm not suggesting that this is going to be easy to not be a quitter in this world or on this faith, but I'm suggesting that the payoff is so huge, the crown of righteousness is so great, you want to go after that. You want to run this race and you want to finish it. There's no participation trophy in all of this. It's the one who finishes the race that gets the award. In the Old Testament, there's a couple guys I have a great appreciation for. Joshua and Caleb, they're two names that are in the Bible. Let me tell you something about Caleb. He's 85 years old the last time we see him. When we first are introduced to Caleb, he's only 40. He's one of 12 spies, which is a really, really great story. He's part of Moses, that part of the story. And Moses has led everyone out of Egypt, and hey, let's go spy out our promised land that God's given us. And so Moses picked 12 men. He sent them in as spies. And when they came out, 10 of the spies had a horrible, horrible report. They literally freaked out the Israelites. The cities are too strong. The armies are too vast. There's giants in there. We can't win. We can't win. Two spies come out with a positive report, and it happens to be Joshua and Caleb. And they come out and they say, yeah, it's a big land, and yeah, there's giants and vast, but God is with us, and they can't stop us from taking the land. Israel has to make a choice, and they follow the 10 spies instead of the 2 positive ones, and God punishes them by wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. That's the story. Now, all of that time has ended. Moses has died. Joshua is leading them, and they've conquered everything in the promised land. Now Joshua is dividing up the land. He's dividing it up between tribes and family, and you get a piece of the new land, and you get a piece, and you get a piece. And as he's doing that, all of a sudden he stops for a moment. He goes, you know what? Something I didn't tell y'all. Up in the high country, we didn't go up there and clean that area out. So up in the high country, there's still large cities and there's still vast armies. There's still enemy up there. Whoever takes the high country as their inheritance in all of this, you still got quite a fight in front of you. And an 85-year-old man steps out and says, I'll take it. This is what he says in Joshua chapter 14 is the story. This is Caleb. Now then, just as the Lord promised, he has kept me alive for 45 years. So here I am today, 85 years old. I am still as strong today as in the day of Moses sent me out. I'm just as vigorous to go out for battle now as I was then. Give me this high country. With the Lord helping me, I will drive them out and I will take this land. Oh man. I want to be a Caleb who in his old age is still filled with tenacity, still filled with moxie, is even a little dangerous. I want to be that guy. I don't want to be a Demas at the end of this world. Who do you want to be? Are you going to finish this thing or not? I went to school with a bunch of guys. They didn't finish well. Good guys, people I love, but they didn't finish well. And here I am. I was not the star of the college. Nobody had high expectations of me. I'm just stubborn enough not to quit. Oh, I know who I am. I'm not the sexiest minister. Yeah, I know. I'm not I'm not the smartest minister. I'm not the most eloquent of speech. I'm not the most profound of thought. I know who I am, and I'm comfortable in my own skin. But at least I didn't quit. And so I'm pretty committed to this thing all the way to the end. But it's not about me. It's not about ministry. It's not about you or this church. It's that I've fixed my eyes on Jesus, and I'm just not going to quit. In front of my family, in front of my grandkids, in front of my community, I don't quit on him. How about you today? Are you in this all the way to the end? As long as you got breath in your lungs, there's more to do. There's more to run. There's more to say. There's more to finish. Who's with me today? This isn't rhetorical. Who's in this all the way to the end and would stand with me right now and say, I'm not going to quit? Who is there? Anyone? Oh, there it is. That's moxie. That's tenacity. That took courage. Now you hold your ground all the way to the end. We don't quit on Jesus. Amen?